This conference will now be recorded.
So in last session, we discussed about one of the pipeline, right? And we discussed about the template, what we have, and we tried using ingest option, how exactly we need to move data from blob to data lake gen 2, right? We discussed in a yesterday session, and we tried running the pipeline, and we can see the file was loaded into target location, right? So in previous sessions, what we discussed, we have created a storage account, both blob and data lake, and both are available in a cloud. Both are cloud storage accounts. We tried moving data from blob to data lake gen 2 using Azure Data Factory service, right? So it's a simple pipeline. Using this ingest option, we tried moving data, and so this is already, already predefined templates are available, guys. Okay, so I'll come to one more thing. There are some templates are available, how exactly you are trying to move data from one container to another container, or one storage account to another storage account. There are many ways, actually, one file system to another file system, how exactly you need to move data. I can also show you some predefined templates. And this is an ingest option. In ingest option, we have two different approaches. One is built-in copy task. You will get a single pipeline to copy data from 90 plus data source easily. And you will get a single pipeline to quickly copy objects from data source store to destination in very intuitive manner. And you can also schedule your pipeline. You can run once using this copy task, right? And we have also metadata driven copy task, guys. Okay, so you will get a parameterized pipeline which can read metadata from an external store to load data at a large scale. So you can load data at a large scale using this approach. Okay, you will get a parameterized pipeline, and which can read metadata from the external store to load all the data. Okay, so let's see how we need to use this approach. So this metadata driven copy task, you'll get parameterized pipelines. When I click on this, because these are all some templates, guys. Okay, these are all some templates. So you'll get parameterized pipeline which can read metadata. Metadata. This is a metadata driven task, right? Metadata table names, and from the control table, and copy them dynamically. So you can update the control table to adjust the copy job without redeploying the pipelines, guys. Okay. So this is, you can keep on updating the control table to adjust the copy jobs without redeploying the pipelines. So let's discuss about more on this metadata driven copy task. Okay. So if you want to know more about, guys, okay, so with respect to this copy data tool, if you want to know more about, you can have learn more, right? It will redirect it to the documentation page. So even if I can click on this learn more, it will redirect it to documentation page where we have this metadata driven copy task. If I can open this link, okay, so build large scale data copy pipeline with a metadata driven approach to copy data tool. and they are saying something, right? When you want to copy huge amounts of objects, right, or load data from large variety of sources, and the appropriate approach is to input the name of list of objects with the required copy behavior in a control table. So no need to worry about, just want to show you in the documentation what exactly they are saying. I'll clearly explain what we can do with the metadata driven approach. So at a high level, try to understand this approach is to input the name of list of objects with the required copy behaviors in control table, and then use a parameterized pipeline to read the same from the control table and apply them to the jobs accordingly. Okay, so by doing so, you can maintain, for example, add or remove the objects list to be copied easily by just updating the object names in a control table instead of redeploying the pipeline. What's more, you will have the single place to easily check which objects copied by using pipelines or triggers with the defined copy behaviors. So we will see, guys, and copy data tool in ADF is the journey of building such metadata driven copy pipelines. After you go through the how you need to create this, after you go through the initiative flow from the wizard based on experience, the tool can generate parameterized pipeline and SQL scripts for you to create a external control table accordingly. After you run generated scripts to create a control table in your SQL database, your pipeline will read metadata from the control table and apply them on the copy jobs automatically. So this approach, guys, metadata driven copy jobs approach. So when you try to read the multiple tables, you can keep placing all this in a control table, and you can be able to read all the data from the respective source. I can see here select the metadata driven copy task in the copy data tool. So you can have the step-by-step process, guys. Okay. So for example, you need to input connection and table name of control table. So I can see here control table data store. This is my Azure SQL database link service. I have to create this, and I have to select the table, what table I want to, because when you connect to this SQL database, I have to specify the control table here, and so that the generated pipeline will read the metadata from that. Okay, so all this metadata will read from this uh, from the control table, and the input the connection of your source database. You can use a parameterized link service as well. So you can see here parameterized link service. This is an advanced concept, guys. Okay, if I can start explaining, maybe you guys are confused because I have not yet explained any parameterized kind of link service. So going for what is this parameters and how exactly you need to pass parameters to add a value to the, I mean, to add a dynamic nature to our pipeline, how exactly you need to use this parameterized concept, we can discuss. Okay. So no need to worry about at this point of time. We can have a separate session to understand more on this parameterized link service as well. Okay, so input the connection of your source database. So just want to show you guys, okay, so about this predefined template, because we are not going to use this predefined template now. We are going to create a separate pipelines. Okay, so but what this tool, and you have to be understand. Okay, so using metadata driven copy task also you can create a pipeline. Okay, but based on your requirement, guys. Okay, so you want to instantly create a metadata driven copy task, and you want to load all the respective table from source within a few minutes, you can do this. So input the connection of your source database. You can use parameterized link service. So I can see here parameterized link service. We dynamically pass. We don't want to hard code anything. We want to pass all these parameters dynamically. Parameterized link services in Azure Data Factory. Uh, so you can now parameterize the link service and pass dynamic values at runtime. You no need to hard code anything. If you want to connect to the different databases on the same logical SQL server, so you have multiple databases, right? You want to connect to that databases with a single link service. You can now parameters You can parameterize the database name in the link service definition. This prevents you from having to create a link service for each database. So if you have this is a bit an advanced, guys. Okay, so you know the database, right? You have a multiple database for suppose, right? So you no need to create multiple link services, right? What I am trying to say here, this is your prop data lake gen 2, and let's discuss about this is. So this is Azure SQL DB, okay, and this is a DDLS Gen 2. Okay, so we created this Gen 2 storage account and blob storage account and data factory service till now, right? I've not created any Azure SQL database. Okay, so we have multiple SQL databases, right? If I want to create a link service to multiple databases, I'll create a single link service. Okay, so I don't want to create a multiple databases, uh, multiple link service to authenticate. Is instead I'll create single link services. I'm talking about Azure SQL database. If you have multiple Azure SQL database, I can create only single link service to establish a connection to the all the databases because they are available in a single server. Okay. Even if you have multiple servers also, we can use the config table approach where we need to keep all our database name, SQL server name. Okay. So sometimes what we need to do, we need to pass that keyboard because we need to place all the credentials to connect to the database in a keyword service. This is a bit advanced, guys. No need to worry. Going forward, we can discuss all these things. And I'll move all the tables from source to SQL DB to ADLH and to using Azure Data Factory service. But my intention here is to create a single link service. So we can create a single link service to establish a connection to all the respective databases. So I have multiple databases, guys. I have not only one database. I have Azure SQL DB, Azure SQL DB1. Okay. So Azure SQL DB2. So like this, I have multiple databases. So I can connect to that source and I can be able to move the data to the target. Okay. So I may have many tables from each and every database and I have to be collect all the tables and load into target. Okay. So this is what the parameterization. We don't want to hard code the database, right? So we need to parameterize the databases and you can use the UI in the Azure portal for parameterizing to your data stores. I can see here supported link service types. You can not only SQL database, you can connect to any blob storage, Cosmos, Data Explorer. So for all these things, you can parameterize. You don't need no need to you no need to hard code, guys. Okay. So just in high level, you can parameterize. You no need to create a multiple link services for the respective source, guys. Even if you have multiple databases, you no need to hard code. Okay, you can parameterize that like this. linked service dot param name. We can see, guys, we can see practically how we need to do this. So here fully qualified domain name I have, right? So this is a Azure SQL database. So here how exactly you need to create the parameterized link service, right? Here I can see add dynamic content in red color. I can see there is a box, right? Yeah, everyone can see, I think, right? So add dynamic content. Here I need to pass this at the rate of link service dot param name. So this param name, we have the parameters. Okay. So I can see add dynamic content at the rate of link service dot db name. So this is a parameter, guys. Db name is a parameter. So let me show you under this parameter db name I have passed. So how exactly you need to do that? At a high level, guys, no need to worry. I'll have a separate session for this and go to manage tab. Left side you can see suitcase icon, left side you can see the suitcase icon, and here I'll come here, I'll create a new, and I'll go to SQL database, Azure SQL database. Okay, click on continue, and here I have okay, just click on enter manually, and I can see here the connections. It's asking that fully qualified name. I have to pass here fully qualified name. I have an option here, add dynamic content, right? So here I need to pass my server dot database dot windows dot net. So this information anyhow you will get from SQL database. I'll show you where you need to get this information from the connection string of database. And this is a database, and I don't need to hard code anything. Okay, so this is my server name I need to pass, and this is the database name. I need to click on add dynamic content, and here I need to pass a parameters. So we have an option here, parameters, and so I just want to pass the parameter like a db name. Okay, for suppose db name, guys, that's what even documentation is saying, right? Db name. And here I don't want to hard code my database name. I want to pass, click on add dynamic content, and I just need to pass db name. So this is what I'm trying to say here. So this is what these parameters, everything will populate automatically, link service dot db name. So instead of passing the value, I just want to hard code. I don't want to hard code the value. I want to pass a parameter dynamically, guys. Okay, so these values, db name and everything, I will pass from pipeline execution and while running the pipeline. These things you can understand once I started parameter concept. But to explain this concept, right, metadata driven copy task at a high level, I just want to show you. We can have a separate section for this. Okay, so
Students,
why yes, guys, go ahead.
hello. Yeah,
Yes,
can you
guys.
please repeat it once?
Sure. So we have
The
parameterization
what is
concept.
the part? What is the linked service parameter where we need to provide the database name, something like this?
Okay, okay. So here, so exactly where you exactly pass that value to the database name, right? You want me to show that?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'll come to that, guys. I'll come to that because if I want to pass that value, I have to create entire pipeline again. It will take some time for me to pass that DB name, but I'll show you at a high level how exactly you need to pass. But let me explain this more
Okay.
with respect to this parameterization. Then I can show you. I'll definitely show you where you need to pass this DB name while running the pipeline. Okay, so let me show you all one by one. So now till this point of time, everyone is clear with me. Everyone is understanding how exactly we need to do the parameterize that instead of hard coding multiple databases. Okay, so you do not want to create a multiple link services to connect to that corresponding databases, guys. You can use single link service. Interview point of view, they'll definitely ask these kinds of questions only, guys, scenario based questions. I have multiple databases and I have multiple SQL servers, but how many link service you can create? Okay, so you have to mention I'll create only one link service. I don't want to hard code my database name and server name. Instead, I'll pass these parameters dynamically, and I can pass the value to this DB name and server names at runtime while running the pipeline. Okay, remember this point. Okay, so I can see here this is for parameters. Okay, so this is how we need to pass a parameter. Let's discuss one more time, and I'll go to data factory. So for you to get a clarity on this, I'll go to new link service. I'll connect not only SQL DB I'm talking about. There are many sources, right? There are many target. So here there are many sources. See here, these many source it supports. Okay, it's natively supported in the UI, and you can parameterize your source. Okay, and you can be able to load accordingly, guys. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here, if you want to connect to any source, okay, so whether it is blob storage, for example, if I can take, we already created blob storage, right? So what I want to do here, so I'll click on enter manually. I'll go to the storage name, storage account name. I don't want to hard code the storage account name here. Okay, so instead I'll pass the value dynamically. What I want to do here, if you have multiple storage accounts, you want to connect, right? So you need to parameterize that. I'll just want to pass here storage account name. Okay, this is my parameter. So I don't want to hard code this storage account name. You can just click on this box, click on add dynamic content. I need to pass this parameter here. Click on OK. So these are all the things, guys, you have to be understand. These things you have to work in a real time. Okay, so when interviewer ask about this type of questions, so I have multiple storage accounts, and I want to get all the data from multiple storage accounts, but I don't how many link service you can create. So I'll create only one link service. So you can explain this. Okay, so I'll go to the account selection method. There is an option enter manually. We need to add that dynamic content. We need to pass the parameter and then a link service, and we need to pass the storage account name dynamically, like at the rate of link service dot storage account name. Okay, so this is how we need to parameterize at linked service level. Okay, so this is parameterization. Okay, so not only with respect to SQL database, ADLS also you can do it. Okay, so instead of hard coding, so this is how we need to pass that value. And so this is sample JSON, and this is a connection string to connect to that database. Okay, so this is there are some formats, guys, you need to follow in a real time. Okay, if I want to connect to that SQL database, I need to pass in this format. Okay, so this is the connection string. Okay, so I'll come to this how exactly you need to parameterize, and how exactly you need to pass the connection string, and how you need to set this format. So we can discuss for SQL database sessions. Okay, so let's go to our metadata driven. So why I'm trying to show you this document, guys, you have to be habituated with the document reading, because Microsoft documentation you can easily understand. Try to understand from the documentation as well. I'll help you to read because the changes will keep on coming, guys. You have to be habituated with upgrade yourself, right? So when I am explaining few things, maybe later point of time the new implementations, because every week you will get some updates from Microsoft. Okay, you have to be habituated and upgrading new things and upgrading the document. They'll keep on updating the documents, and you have to be understand the new things are added to that, the current requirement, so that you can be able to implement new changes in your project as well. Okay, so this is what a parameterized link service which I have just discussed, and input the connection of your source database. So I can see, guys, this is just for an example, they kept it here. So how we need to pass this, see here, so even keyword, Azure keyword service, input connection of your source database. You can connect to Azure keywords. You don't know what is Azure keyword service, no need to worry. So Azure keyword service, we'll discuss about, we have separate session for that. Azure keyword service is a centralized place where we need to keep all our credentials. For example, guys, so in a normal environment, right, you have some credentials like username and password, and you want to store somewhere, and maybe in normal .NET or Java based applications, we generally keep that secure information in some application.properties file and all, right? But in a cloud, in Azure cloud, we can keep all our credentials, like database credentials, whatever the account key. So we have Databricks access tokens, and we have tenant ID, client ID, directory ID, and SFTP host name, username, password. So everything we will keep, all the credentials, guys. Okay, all the credentials we will keep it in Azure Keyword Service. Azure Keyword Service is fully managed by Microsoft, and it's a centralized place where we need to create the secrets, where we need to keep all our credentials. Okay, so we can see how we need to create this Azure Keyword Service. It's an advanced topic, okay, but just I'll give the glimpse on this, because the topic Azure Keyword also came into picture here. Select the table name to copy. So here, secret name, in this diagram I can see the secret name. Maybe many people are not able to see, but you can open this URL if you want. Okay, so you can clearly check this. So let me share in the chat, guys. Okay, so select the table name. You have to select the control table. I can see here. So select the table name to copy. So if you want to connect to this Azure SQL database, there might be many databases, guys. Okay, you can see here there are some databases. Okay, and if you select a tabular data store, you will have a chance to further select either full load or delta load in the next page. If you select a storage store, you can further select full load only. In the next page, incrementally loading new files only from the storage store is currently not supported. So you can be able to go for full load only in the next page. I can show you how exactly you need to. So let's try to, there is a connection. So there is a connection actually to connect to SQL database. You no need to worry about connecting from keyword service and all. You can also connect using SQL authentication, that I'll show you. Choose loading behavior. Okay, choose loading behavior. If you want to do full copy on all tables, select full load all tables. If you want to do incremental copy, you can select a configure for each table individually. Okay, so you have to be configure each table individually, and select delta load as well as watermark column name and value to start for each table. So you have to be, if you want to do any delta load or any incremental load, you have to be select that watermark column based on what column you want to do the incremental process. Okay, for each table, select a destination data store. In a settings page, you can decide the maximum number of copy activities to copy data from your source store concurrently via number of concurrent copy tasks. So I can see here concurrent copy tasks, the default value is 20. I can see number of concurrent copy tasks. Okay, and I can see number of concurrent copy tasks here auto by default. And after pipeline deployment, you can copy or download the SQL scripts from your UI for creating a control table and store procedures. So you can also download the SQL scripts if you need, because you are trying to load data into target. So you will see two SQL script. The first SQL script is used to create two control table. The main control table stores the table list, okay, and file path or copy behaviors, and the connection control table stores the connection value of your data store. If you used parameterized link service, the second SQL script is used to create a store procedure. It is used to update the watermark column main control table. Let's see, guys, no need to worry about query the main control table and connection control table to review the metadata. So this is bit an advanced topic, guys. Okay, maximum number of concurrent tasks. Okay, so I'll explain this. Okay, once we start exploring on SQL database, if I can start explaining this concept, you cannot understand anything. I just want to show you this for you to do the full. If you have multiple tables and you want to load all the tables into that, and you want to go for incremental approach using this template, you can do that. Okay, but this bit an advanced concept. Before this, you have to be understand that we have not yet created any databases. We have not done anything, right? So we will start creating the databases, and I'll come to here and I'll show you how exactly you need to use this, how exactly you need to connect to SSMS. You don't know even SSMS as well. So I have to explain everything. So if I can start explaining, maybe you a bit confused about this concept. And so update control table by copy data tool. So there are many things if you can go for incremental approach. So we can come to this section, guys. Okay, so how exactly you need to use this predefined template, because there are many things are associated with this particular concept. If I cannot explain those concepts and if I can directly create this pipeline, you can confused. Okay, so I don't want to confuse everyone. So we'll go for start creating a pipelines, and we will see that later point of time how exactly we need to implement this pipeline metadata driven copy data task. And once I completed the SQL section, okay, so then you can understand this how this is going to be work. Okay, so this is the one option we have, and in a home page, so these two options we have. And so you can also schedule your pipeline, guys. Okay, so you can run manually and you can also schedule your pipeline, and these are all options, schedule and tumbling window, when you want to schedule your pipeline based on your requirement. What is schedule trigger, what is tumbling window trigger, we can discuss clearly when it comes to triggering concept. Okay, but at a high level, if you want to automate your pipeline, you don't want to run manually, you want to run today 2 p.m. UTC, right, UTC time zone, automatically you can schedule. You can click on this schedule and you can specify the time when you want to run. Okay, so simple thing, guys. For example, you want to travel from one place to another place, right? And today maybe move you want to move from Hyderabad to uh, or sorry, you want to move from maybe Kukatpalli to LB Nagar. Okay, so what you need to do, you book a cab. Maybe sometimes what we need to do, we just want to do the advance booking, right? So we can do that, right? So you can just keep that alarm, and you can just book maybe now it's 7:47, and maybe you can book a ticket afternoon 1 p.m. around, right? So you can book that ticket and it will automatically come at 1 p.m. Driver will call you and you will go to the destination, right? Here also, I don't want to run manually. I can just schedule my pipeline. Okay, so I can just schedule my pipeline so that it will automatically run that particular period of time, guys. I no need to worry about anything. So every day the same time the pipeline would execute it, and you can also do this schedule mechanism and tumbling window based trigger. We'll discuss about what exactly the difference between schedule based trigger, tumbling window. So when we use the tumbling window based trigger, how we need to set the dependency. So what is the use of tumbling window based trigger, when to use tumbling window based trigger, when you have a large files or small files, when you want to set the dependency. So there are few properties, max concurrency. So you have to understand these things going forward. Okay. So recurrence, every day you want to, recurrence is every 24 hours. Okay, you want to execute this pipeline, you can use this schedule, otherwise run once now. Okay, so these are all templates, guys, we have with respect to ADF. Okay, and I can see here orchestrate, code-free data pipelines, and transform data. And if you can click on this orchestrate, right, you need to create your own pipeline manually. Okay, you have to create a linked service, you have to create a data set, you have to create your pipelines, right? So you have to create by your own. So if I can click on this orchestrate, it will redirect it to author tab. It is going to be create a pipeline, but I have not done anything. It's going to be create some instantly create a pipeline, but I have not created anything in this pipeline, right? So it will automatically go, and when it comes to transform data, it will automatically go to the data flows. So when I click on this transform data, it will go to the data flow section, and it is created data flows. Okay, so and we'll also discuss about configure SSIS packages. So manage and run your SSIS packages in the cloud. So if you have SSIS packages in your cloud, you can also run your SSIS packages using this option, guys. Okay, so we discussed about a home page and a setup code repository, and if you want to integrate your code, we have a separate section for this, no need to worry. Just at high level, if you want to integrate your code to the higher environment, like in real-time environment, we have different environments like dev, test, stage, production, right? So you want to integrate your code to the higher environment, like you make some changes in your own branch. You have to create that branch based out of development branch or any master branch, and you should make the changes with respect to the branch, and you have to test with our changes with the pipeline, how this process will work, and we can have these sessions, how we need to integrate your code to the higher environments, that we can discuss. Okay, and this is an author tab. So we just created using a template, we created a pipeline, but we have not created any pipeline at manually. So you have to understand this author tab. So you have seen here validate all data factory resources, right? So when I click on this drop down, I can see two options. So this is a data factory live mode, guys. Okay, this is where you need to create your pipelines and all, right? But in real time, when you want to create your own pipeline, you can create your own branch. Okay, so for creating your own branch, you have to go to setup code repository, and you have to create your own branch. Okay, so I'll show you how we need to connect to the DevOps, or how we need to connect to the GitHub, how exactly you need to create your own branch, and you have to make the changes in your own branch. So I'll come to this. Okay, setup code repository. Now we'll go for data factory live mode only. So validate all. If you do anything, right? So for example, this pipeline, if I can take it as, if I can click on validate all, so your factory has been validated. No errors were found. If there is any errors, it can definitely show you guys. Okay, so since I don't have any errors, when I click on validate all, so you can see here option here plus symbol, right? So under the factory sources, we have pipeline and template gallery. and import from pipeline template. You should understand few things, guys, here. So this is a pipeline. You can create your own pipeline by clicking on this pipeline option. Okay. So here you have three dots where you can create a new pipeline, and or else you can also click on this plus symbol. I can go to here and I can click on the pipeline. So this is also will create a pipeline, and this is also will create a new pipeline. So either way is fine. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here, pipeline, you can see some template gallery, guys. Okay. So what is this template gallery? If I can click on this template gallery, so you will get some templates, guys. Okay. So bulk copy from database to Azure Data Explorer, bulk copy from database. So use this template to copy data in bulk from database using an external control table to store partition list of source tables. So these are all some templates which Microsoft already created for you. For example, bulk copy from files to database. So if I can click on this, if I can click on this template, right? So what I need to do, so I have to use this template to copy data in bulk from Azure Data Lake Gen 2 to Azure Synapse Analytics or Azure SQL database. Okay. So if you want to copy data from small number of tables with a small size of data, it's more efficient for you to go copy data tool. Okay, remember this point, guys, to have an one single copy activity, and for each activity and a copy activity in your pipeline. So you can use, if you have small number of table, if you have small size of data, you can use this option. Okay, so how exactly you need to implement, you have to select here data lake, and you have to select here this is a sync data set, guys, where you want to move data, and this is a source data set. Okay, so you have to be past that the Synapse Analytic data set, and you have to here pass that link service related to data lake gen 2. So like this, you have some options here: bulk copy, copy, data movement, and so you can load all of your data using these activities, using get metadata for each activity, and inside of for each activity you have a copy activity. So this template will automatically create for you. Okay, so now I don't have this Synapse Analytics, I have not yet created, but later point of time I'll create this Synapse Analytics account. I'll show you how exactly you need to move data from data lake Gen 2 to Synapse Analytics. So, okay, so this is the template for bulk copy from files to database. Okay, so like this, you have some templates are ready, ready-made templates. You can also use this ready-made templates to implement the scenario, guys. So but there is some limitation with respect to this capacity. So we will see that. Okay, so we can also view the documentation related to this. Okay, so how exactly, what is that that number of tables we have to move, and what is the size of the tables. We have to think about many scenarios here, and before going to use these templates. Okay, so now I can go to back. I can see here call Synapse pipeline with a notebook activity, and copy and convert data from Office 365 to common data initiative. So you can also have here copy and convert data from Office 365, and copy data from Google BigQuery to Azure Data Lake Gen 2, and copy data from HDFS to Azure Data Lake Store, and copy data from Netoja to Azure Data Lake. These are all copy data from on-prem SQL Server to Azure Synapse. So these are all some predefined templates, guys. Okay, so these are all automatically created for you, and you have to be select here data destination, you have to be select here link service for data source. Okay, so all these types of options we have, these are all some predefined templates you can use, and you can implement in day-to-day scenarios. Okay, and copy data from on-prem SQL Server to a SQL Azure. Okay, and all these options, guys. Okay, you can try this different examples. Copy data from Oracle to Azure Synapse Analytics. So we have this predefined template. Use this template to copy data from Oracle Server to Azure Synapse Analytics, and copy data versus data from Azure Data Lake to Azure SQL, copy data was data from multiple data lakes to a single data lake. Even if you can have that multiple data lakes, guys, copy data was from multiple data lakes. If you have multiple data lakes to single data lake also, you can use this copy activity and you can do this efficiently. Okay, so you can also practically see, guys. Okay, you can see practically how exactly you need to it's creating automatically. We can see one of the pipelines. Okay, going forward, so how exactly you need to implement this. Okay, so go back, copy delta data, in the sense incremental data from AWS S3 to Azure Data Lake Gen 2. So this is also template. Copy from REST or HTTP using OAuth authentication. So this is one pipeline. So copy multiple files containers between the file stores, guys. So I can see here, to connect to that source. So I have to select here file binary sync file store, binary source file store. So from where do we get that all the data? Where do we load the data into target? And you have to select here binary sync file store, and this is a binary source file store. You have to be select here the corresponding sync and corresponding source. Remember these points, guys, whenever you want to move all the data from the, for example, guys, I have to move data from one of storage account gen 1 to gen 2. So you already aware, right, how we created the storage accounts and all. So but I want to load all the data from gen 1 to gen 2, and how exactly you need to implement this change. So for you to move all the containers, all the file from gen 1 to gen 2, you have to be use this tool as well, this copy data tool as well. These are all some templates we have available. So if you want to move, you can also use this. Copy multiple tables from SAP HANA. Copy new files only by last modified date. So you can see here, guys, copy new files only by last modified date. So I can also use this tool. For example, I can connect to the blob storage. I want to go for last modified. For example, here I want to simply use this tool, simple tool. So I have to select it here, binary data source store, and this is a destination store. So I'll select, for example, blob. This is my blob connection, and the target also I can use like a Gen 2. ADLS Gen 2. Use this template. See, guys, using these templates, you get to know many things. You no need to create a pipelines. Using these templates, this it will automatically create for you what exactly they're trying to do here. And this is a general tab. I'll come to that. So I can see here some parameters they're trying to pass, folder path source, and these are all parameters for directory source. Okay, if you have any directory, and this is all I want to read all the files, right, um, from the source. Okay, but recursively option is enabled. From the corresponding folders I want to read. So this is a last modified, guys, last modified from, and I can pass here pipeline dot parameters dot last modified from, and last modified to. Okay, so last modified from and last modified to. I'll get this max concurrent connections, and open this binary data set, and I am passing here container name and directory name if you have any folders. So this is what the pipeline. So in a sync, I just want to pass the container name and directory name where exactly you want to load all the data, and I think everything is fine. Let's try to skip missing files, guys. Okay, so if you're trying to read all the data, and if you want to skip those missing files also, you can do that. So now filter by last modified from and the last modified to. So I'm not specifying if I can debug this pipeline. It is asking, guys, for me last modified from and last modified to, because I have parameterized this last modified from and last modified to, right? So these are all the parameters I have I can use in a copy activity. So for you to simplify this solution, and you can pass all this parameter name and so last modified from. So these last modified from and last modified to. So I have passed parameters, and I can pass these parameters at runtime while running the pipeline. So one of our colleague is asked about how exactly you need to pass these values to the parameters, right? So if I can debug, right, it is asking that the parameters values, how exactly you need to move last modified. So this is last modified from and last modified to. So we can pass like this in a copy activity. While running the copy activity, click on debug. I can pass source folder, subfolders, destination folder, subfolder, and last modified from, last modified to. Okay. So from what time to what time you want to move data. So you can also specify here parameter last modified from and last modified to as well. Okay. So these are all different kinds of approaches, guys. So when you want to execute your pipeline, so these are all some default values. So when I pass these parameters, guys, okay, so try to understand a few things. Last modified from and last modified to, right? So if you can click on this empty space, I can see the parameters here. All these parameters it is asking. I have to pass the parameters here, guys. Okay, last modified from and last modified to. So this is the default value. This is the default value I have to be passed. And here it's showing that error because we don't have any directories, and we don't have the data. Anything. We have not passed anything. That's the reason in the output section you can go and you can see the error message saying that user error source blob does not exist because we have not created any file, right? The required blob is missing. Container source folder, paths, source folder, subfolder, I have not done anything, right? So that's the reason it is showing that since you have not created anything, you're trying to create template, right? So I'll create this. We'll also create from scratch. No need to worry. From scratch, we can do everything, but at a high level, we can just pass these parameters at parameters level, folder path source, directory source, and folder path. How exactly you need to create these parameters? What is this parameters? We can discuss. Okay. So how in a real time we can dynamically pass all these values and everything we can discuss in a parameter section. Okay. So at a high level, I just want to show you this templates also. It's very useful, guys, when you try to use in your pipe in your real time, and you can try to implement accordingly. Okay. So this is what, guys. Okay. Uh, this is what different templates we have. Um, so you can also go through this few more things. We have many templates are available. So just have a look into this, all these things. Copy multiple tables from SAP HANA. Copy new files only for last modified date. That's what we discussed just now. Okay. So customer feedback analytics, data anonymization with the Presidio as HTTP service. And so we have few more things actually. Distinct rows with respect to data flows, and deduplication pipeline, delete files older than 30 days, delta copy from database. Okay. So delta data flow, such as log analytics, so extract data from PDF. So there are many things, guys. Incremental copy SCP table. So all these are predefined templates we have already available in Azure Data Factory, which is provided by Microsoft. You can you can use this sample pipelines, guys, whenever you try to implement a similar functionality, and you can try to create your own pipeline. We can start creating all these things, guys, going forward for new pipelines. How exactly you need to, because we have to do the scratch from everything, right? So we have to create our link service, we have to create our data set, we have to create our pipelines, right? So everything we need to do from scratch, right? So that's it, guys, for today. Any questions?
Hello.
Yeah, hi, Naresh here.
Yes, Naresh.
Regarding copy activity, how many scenarios you are showing? I mean, establish the connection like database to database or SQL server to Oracle server, something like this. How many scenarios will be?
So that you can understand, guys. Okay, going forward, we'll discuss. We'll connect to that websites. We'll connect to that SFTP servers. We'll connect to SQL servers. We'll connect to the REST endpoint. There are many sources. Okay, so we'll connect and we'll move all the data.
Okay. One more thing, suppose, for example, I have one table in Oracle database.
Mhm.
I have another table in SQL server.
Mhm.
I want to move data from Oracle database to SQL server.
Okay.
And I need to use copy activity or anything else.
Okay.
The data
Yeah,
will be
you have
present
to
in
do.
Oracle database.
Yeah,
The
I
data will be
understand.
present in Oracle.
Yeah, yeah.
The complete
So
data
you
move to
have to use.
SQL database.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. So you have to be
Yes,
move
sir.
all the data first. You have, since it is an on-premises Oracle database, right? Or it's in a cloud.
On premises.
Okay, you have to be connect to that Oracle database. You have to install the self-hosted integration runtime, and you can connect to that Oracle database, and you can select the table, whatever the table you want to move it to the SQL database. So for you to move right from Oracle to SQL database, you want to directly move data, or you want to initially, because we generally use like a staging layer. We just want to compress because we don't know the on-prem network, right? So we'll use staging
No.
layer. What is
As
the
of,
staging layer?
as of
Yeah,
now,
Naresh.
as of my idea, it will be completely move data from one place to another. That's it. There is no staging area, something like this, I believe.
No, no, no. What I'm trying to say, if it is one table, that is fine. Okay, if you have less volume of data, that is fine. Sometimes what will happen, we don't know the on-premises network, right? It's their network, right? It's not part of a cloud. So what you need to
Okay,
do,
okay.
you can compress the data. You can have enable compression checkbox. There is an option. You can use staging layer as a blob or a data lake. You can temporarily load the data into this storage account, and you can, once you moved all the data to the target, you can remove, it will automatically delete the data from the staging layer. You no need to worry about. To improve the performance, I'm trying to explain this concept. Okay, so you have to go for best approaches.
Okay, 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 okay. For that purpose, in copy activity, we need to use mapping or not. Mapping is important
uh,
or not.
because because both are different databases, right? You have to do the mapping, right? Because the data
Okay.
types, right, both source and target, right, they're different data, they're
Mhm.
not similar data type. Their SQL is different, Oracle SQL is different, and SQL server is SQL is different, right? We call it as a transact SQL. For Oracle it's a different SQL, right? But there might be
Mhm.
some differences with respect to data type, right? So you have to be mapped.
Okay.
Maybe the columns are extra in a target table. Maybe they're not similar. The naming conventions are different. So you have to be do the proper mapping, and you can load the data into target.
Okay. 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 Thanks. Thanks.
No problem, Ramesh. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yes, Mahesh. Go ahead.
You have to create the pipelines and have to publish and trigger now.
Mhm.
And after that, how to see the data, how to delete that pipeline.
So I'll show you guys. Okay. So you want to, after creating the pipeline, you want to remove that pipeline.
Yes.
You can delete it. You can go there and you can delete directly. Okay. Let
Not
me show you. You're not finding anything.
yes.
Hello, Suresh.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Who is this?
Yeah, my question is actually using templates. You don't want to create any pipelines and integration runtime. Don't want to create nothing in these templates. Yeah, everything is there.
Yeah, everything is there. Everything is there. You have to be selector. For example, if I want to move data from cloud to cloud, I no need to select anything, right? If I want to move data from on-prem to cloud, I have to select the self-hosted IR. Okay, that I have to create. I have to be responsible for that. Okay, while using these predefined templates from moving data from on-prem to cloud, you have to be selected self-hosted IR. This is a bit advanced concept, guys. No need to worry. So let me share. Somebody wants to delete the pipelines, right? Cancel this. So here we have an option to delete, guys. Okay, if you want to delete any pipeline, in three dots, you can see here three dots. You can see delete option. Okay,
Not here. After the monitoring tab,
monitor
how to
tab
after
here.
publishing the pipeline,
Uh-huh.
here how to delete it. Yeah,
No, here we can have
how
that
to list of
cancel
pipelines
option.
after publishing.
Okay, but we cannot delete the pipelines here. We can be able to, for example, if I can click on this, I can see an options here only cancel, right? Refresh and all. If you want to delete this from this list you are talking about,
Yes,
from the pipeline run list,
yes.
any scope, I mean, any requirement to why you are trying to remove this pipeline
Uh,
execution here?
Actually, first time I have to run the pipeline. How to
Uh,
pipeline name is getting. After that, after some modifications, I have to publish that another pipeline. I have getting number of multiple pipelines. I have to getting. I need only one pipeline.
No issues. You can just open your pipeline, right? Why you don't no need to touch this pipeline. What you need to do in those cases, you can just change the status. And if it is a pipeline you don't want to touch, you can just click on the succeed one in those cases, and you can see your pipeline status instead of failed one. Okay, you want to see all the pipeline status. You can also see that all the pipeline status here.
In real time,
Okay,
also
you
getting multiple pipeline.
sorry.
In real time, also every time you have to publishing the pipeline, you have to getting every
Yes, yes.
time.
Whenever
Multi
you want to make the changes in the pipelines, you have to be published. Otherwise, whatever the changes you made, all the changes will last.
okay. And one the another thing, I have to delete data sets.
Okay.
And after that, how to refresh the page? The data set automatically came.
So you want to delete this, right?
Yes. Delete data sets. After that, how to page refresh? The data sets automatically pulls on
They
data
are
set.
available, you're talking about, right? Even
Sorry?
after deleting the data set, they are available, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we will see that tomorrow session. We'll practically create one pipeline, and we will see that from tomorrow onwards, we'll start creating our own pipelines, and we will see. I think link service will remain same even if you refresh the page. The link services are available, but I don't think data sets also is available. I'm not sure about that. Even
Okay.
after refreshing, they're still available
Yes.
without publishing, right?
No, no. After publishing, I have to remove that data sets. Before, I am not checking.
Okay, after publishing this pipeline, you want to remove this data set, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you can remove after publish also.
After page refresh, the data set already in same
No,
there.
no, no, no. It will not definitely after removing it will not available. I'll show you tomorrow. We can
Okay.
create our own pipeline. These are all some templates, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank you.
no issues. Any other questions, team?
Yeah,
So
Suresh,
if you
can you
don't have
show me
any,
once where I need to find that template gallery? Where I need to see that one? In monitor tab or other tab?
uh, in author tab, you can go to factor resources. In a plus symbol, you can see the pipeline and template gallery.
Okay, got it, got it, got it.
Okay, guys, that's it for today. We can connect again tomorrow. Have a great day, all. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
So,
Thank you.